You know that feeling when you're facing a small, new task that somehow feels surprisingly huge? We've all been there. So, in this explainer, we're going to follow the story of Ken, who turns a simple hotel room service order into, well, a hero's journey of overcoming a really common fear. Because sometimes it's not just about getting some food. It's about unlocking a little piece of your own confidence. So let me ask you this. Is ordering room service just a simple luxury, or can it secretly be a challenge? For anyone who's ever kind of paused and felt that little bit of hesitation before picking up the hotel phone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let's meet our hero, Ken. He's in a hotel in London, he's hungry, but he's also feeling that first time anxiety. For him, the simple task of ordering some food feels like a really big deal. This is right where his journey begins. And this quote from Ken just gets right to the heart of it. It's not really about making a phone call, is it? It's about that pressure of being in a new, kind of nice environment and that fear of not doing things the right way. But here's the thing. Ken isn't alone. With a little encouragement from his friend Mina, he decides, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to face the fear. This is that classic moment in any story, right? The decision to actually act, to just pick up the phone, even with all those nerves. Mina's advice isn't some big, complicated secret. It's incredibly powerful, though. Just remember to speak slowly and clearly. This simple, practical tip becomes the very first tool Ken has to manage his anxiety. You know, any intimidating thing can be broken down into smaller, manageable steps. And for room service, it's actually pretty simple. You state your room number, ask for a recommendation if you're not sure, place your order, make any special requests, and then just confirm the details. See? When you break it down like that, it feels so much less daunting. This is a really key strategy right here. When Ken feels unsure, he doesn't panic. He just turns his uncertainty into a direct question. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness at all. It's a sign that you're resourceful. And there it is, the final order. One chicken sandwich, and remember that important no cheese request, a small mushroom soup, and an orange juice. The call is over. The first hurdle is cleared. Or so it seems. So making the call was one thing, but now Ken enters a whole new phase, the anxious wait. This is that tricky part where self-doubt can start to creep back in even after you've successfully done the thing you were worried about. Have you ever done this? You do something you were nervous about, and then your brain immediately starts replaying it, just searching for tiny mistakes. Ken gets stuck on whether he was clear enough about the cheese, and Mina, she nails it. You are overthinking. While they wait, Mina brings up this wonderful concept, comfort food. It's not just about calories. It's about food that makes you feel warm and happy and safe. Like a warm bowl of soup on a chilly night. It's exactly what Ken needs right now. And then, a knock at the door. The food has arrived. A wave of relief just washes over Ken as he sees the tray. But just when he thinks the challenge is totally over, an unexpected twist shows up. At first, everything seems perfect.
Ken takes a bite of the sandwich, and it's delicious. The chicken is so soft, the bread is still warm. The soup is great, but something is missing.
So, as Ken is enjoying his meal, Mina's kind of scanning the tray, and she notices something isn't quite right. What could it be? Let's think back to that original order. The orange juice. It's not there. It's a small mistake, sure, but for someone who was already nervous about making the call in the first place, it feels like a major test. The journey isn't over yet. So now, Ken faces a choice. He could just ignore the missing juice, right? But instead, he decides he's got to solve the problem. And that means picking up the phone a second time. Are the lessons from the first call gonna stick? And wow, the difference is just remarkable. In that first call, he was nervous, a little hesitant, apologetic. But in the second call, he's calm, he's clear. He simply states the facts without feeling like he has to apologize for anything. That's real growth right there. This is another really powerful idea from Mina. Ken feels like he's being a complaining customer, But she points out a huge difference. He wasn't complaining, he was informing. He was just providing helpful information about a mistake. That's it. So, what was the result of Ken's calm, informative call? A totally professional, apologetic, and immediate response. The staff just says, "Oops, sorry, we'll fix that right away." All of Ken's fears about being seen as a difficult guest were completely in his head. And with that, we reach the end of Ken's journey. The real reward wasn't the sandwich, or even the juice. Nope, the real reward was the feeling he was left with after he handled the whole situation himself. This quote right here says it all. He started out nervous and he ended up feeling confident. He feels like he can do it again easily. And that's the power of facing a small fear and succeeding. It doesn't just solve one problem. It builds a foundation for whatever comes next. So, what can we learn from Ken's little adventure? Here's the playbook. Speak clearly. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. Remember that mistakes happen and they're usually pretty easy to fix. Reframe complaining as just informing. And maybe most importantly, recognize that every small challenge you overcome is a building block for real confidence. And that leaves us with one final question. Ken's hurdle was ordering room service. Yours might be something totally different. So, what's that one small, seemingly insignificant fear that's just waiting for you to conquer it?